2,600 years ago, one man changed the world. His name was Cyrus, Cyrus the Great. The Persians called him Shepherd of the Peoples. He was not merely a conqueror, he was the world's first economic architect. In 550 BC, Cyrus split history with a single decision. He overthrew the Median Empire and claimed the Persian throne. But the real revolution did not begin on the battlefield. It began in the treasury. Cyrus did not simply collect tribute from conquered lands. He built a system. He established standard weights and measures. He secured the trade routes. He carried the gold coin system seized from Lydia to every corner of the empire. For the first time in history, money became the common language of a unified geography. But this was only the beginning. Cyrus's grandson Darius perfected this system. In 515 BC, he minted a gold coin called the Daric. This coin contained 95.83% pure gold. It weighed 8.4 grams. It was the first reliable currency in world history. The Daric was accepted from the Mediterranean to India. A merchant departing Persepolis could shop in Egypt. Darius also built the Royal Road. This road stretched 2,699 kilometers from Sardis to Susa. It was the highway of the ancient world. Along the road stood 111 relay stations. A royal courier could cover this distance in 7 days. Trade caravans moved in safety. This road was not merely stone and earth. This road was the artery of money. But the true genius lay in the tax system. Darius divided the empire into 20 satrapies. Each satrapy paid a fixed annual tribute. Babylon contributed 1,000 talents of silver per year. Egypt paid 700 talents. India sent 360 talents of gold dust. Total annual revenue reached 14,500 talents. In today's currency, this equaled billions of dollars. For the first time in history, a state conducted budget planning. Every satrapy knew its obligation in advance. There was no arbitrary seizure. There was a calculable system. And this system worked. The Persian Empire was the world's first superpower. At its peak, it controlled 40% of Earth's population. Its territory stretched from Libya to Afghanistan. It reached from the Indian Ocean to the Black Sea. The Persepolis treasury was the Fort Knox of the ancient world. When Alexander seized this treasury, he found 120,000 talents. This was the largest wealth transfer in ancient history. But the story did not end here. It became far more complex. After Alexander, the Persians rose again. The Parthian Empire competed with Rome for centuries. The Sasanians took control of the silk trade. Every bolt of fabric flowing from China to the Mediterranean passed through Iran. Iran's geography was a bridge. Every trade route between east and west ran through this land. The heart of the Silk Road was Iran. This geographic advantage generated wealth for centuries. Then the world changed. But Iran's fate did not. Entering the 20th century, a new treasure was discovered. In 1908, oil erupted at Masjid Suleiman. Iran became the Middle East's first oil producer. But this wealth did not flow to Iran. The Anglo-Persian Oil Company took 80% of the profits. Iran received 20%. The riches beneath its own soil fed another empire. This arrangement lasted for years. It was the ancient tribute system in reverse. And then someone rebelled against this order. In 1951, Prime Minister Mosaddegh nationalized the oil. This decision shook the world. Britain imposed an embargo. No one could purchase Iranian oil. Refineries shut down. Revenues collapsed. In 1953, a coup overthrew Mosaddegh. The CIA and MI6 operation entered history as Operation Ajax. Oil was reopened to foreign companies. But this time the profit split was set at 50-50. Iran received slightly more, but control still remained outside. This is where the equation shifted again. The 1979 revolution upended everything. The new regime severed all ties with the West. The U.S. embassy crisis began. Then came sanctions. Then an 8-year war with Iraq devastated the economy. Iran spent billions of dollars. Infrastructure was destroyed. A young generation dissolved on the front lines. The war ended in 1988. But the economic wound never healed. And the system discovered a new weapon. Sanctions. In 2012, the West imposed comprehensive sanctions. Iran's oil exports fell by half. It was cut from the SWIFT system. Dollar-based transactions were blocked. Inflation surged past 40%. The rial lost half its value. Iran's foreign reserves evaporated. A nation's financial arteries had been severed. This was the modern siege war. But Iran was history itself. It recognized the siege. Iran made four moves. First, it continued oil trade with China, denominated in yuan. Second, it conducted border trade with Iraq and Afghanistan on a cash basis. Third, it adopted the resistance economy doctrine to incentivize domestic production. Fourth, it invested in digital infrastructure. The Shatab payment system was developed as an alternative to SWIFT, and this was not merely defense. This was a strategic transformation. Today, Iran's economy is full of contradictions. It holds the world's fourth largest oil reserves. It ranks second globally in natural gas reserves. It has a young population of 70 million. It carries a strong engineering tradition. But sanctions block investment. Inflation has become chronic. The rial loses value constantly. Capital flight continues. This is the oldest paradox in history. The land that built the world's first economic system now stands outside the global financial order. The Daric once unified continents. Now Iran cannot conduct international trade with its own currency. The royal road once connected the world. Now sanction walls isolate Iran. But history moves in cycles. Persepolis too was once thought indestructible. The sanctions regime will not last forever. Iran's strategic position does not change. The bridge between East and West still stands. And those who control bridges eventually set the toll. They built walls to keep the world out. But both sides of the wall stood on the same ground. This story was a dramatized scenario analysis based on historical and economic research. Subscribe for more financial history. Like and share to support the channel.